T minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's your career affirmation. You're going to rock that interview and get that job. Hey everyone, good morning. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF. I am here every single Thursday at noon. If you are a new viewer, welcome. I am a recruiter by day, a job search strategist, and career coach by night. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a mother of one human and 4 rescue dogs. I am a rescuer of dogs and careers, hashtag your career BFF. I am an advocate for neurodiversity and ADHD. I also talk about recovery and addiction, as I have been sober for over 11 years. And a lot of those principles in regards to my healing recovery journey show up in my stories, my branding, and my coaching. And I tend to work with the underdogs, those like me that have had squiggly careers, that might have had, some weird adventures in their life that have, created some stories and made them even more unique and special, because I think we're all special. And that's why I focus on this section of the BFF method, which is fabulous self-love, which is self-care, self-awareness, self-compassion. And so many times I talk to job seekers and I hear the emotional strain and the angst and the anxiety and the stress. And I often start to peel back those layers as I ask my clients questions. And it comes to sometimes that, we're looking for the external world to, tell us that we should do this type of work, or that we should fit in these positions, or that we're not enough because, we're reading all these different opinions of how you should do job search strategy. And, people get in this mindset that they're doing something wrong. And I want you to know you're not doing anything wrong. Looking for a job and, trying to figure out what you're going to do in your career is really hard. And so we're going to talk today a little bit about, what is self-love? What is self-awareness, and self-compassion. And then we're going to close the conversation with a little guided meditation about self-compassion and how you can pause and invite that self-compassion into your life so that you can shine bright, regain your footing, and understand your purpose and your passion, and give you the strength that you need, and the resiliency, and the inner knowing that what you're doing is you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I know so many people do not like to hear that, but you're right on time. You're not late. You're not early. I believe we are exactly where we're supposed to be because there is something that we're supposed to learn. So with that, good morning, good afternoon, welcome wherever you are. Thank you for being here. We have Ronette is here. Melanie is here. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm so glad you're here. Timothy is here. Amazing. Jolie, this is awesome. Hello, Anthony. Welcome. So be sure that you're networking with each other in the comments because super cool, awesome career BFFs know other super cool, awesome humans, and then we create this ripple effect. So that is why I show up here every single Thursday, and this is week 19. How is that possible? Okay, so it is week 19. Part of the BFF method is behind the recruiter curtain, focused and fulfilling strategy, and fabulous self-love. Because I have found through my time being a recruiter and a saleswoman and coaching that having those behind the recruiter concepts and insights really helps job seekers manage the process with recruiters. And if you are a recruiter, I am hosting an audio event tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern that is all for recruiters, talent acquisition professionals, to really kind of support the recruiter community, to share best practices and talk about all the layoffs that we've had, what we expect to happen in Q1 of 2023. What recruiters are seeing with hiring teams and hiring managers, best practices. A lot of recruiters can't get off the stage without talking about, technology that is working well, ways to find talent. So it's going to be a great conversation. So if you know organizations that are hiring recruiters, please invite them. The event is posted in my featured section on my profile, and I will circle back and include it in the chat after the live. So here we are talking about self-care, self-compassion, self-awareness. These are the things that help build confidence. And a lot of people I talk to who come in, their confidence has been, shaken because they have experienced a layoff. Maybe because they've had a toxic boss, maybe because they keep attracting, similar opportunities that they were trying to get away from. Or they are really trying to find clarity in like fitting in these more traditional boxes. And this is something that I feel passionate about because as a like multi-dimensional person myself, I don't like to fit in just one little box. I like to, take up segments of many boxes with my skill sets and my abilities. So that comes to, that mindfulness and self-awareness. So I made a couple notes as I journaled this morning. So I want to share those with you because, again, kind of coming back to yourself, like being a career BFF to yourself, that's where you find the confidence, right? That's where you find the clarity. If you're trying to figure out like what you should be doing, like what position title is good for you, or how you can take your knowledge, competencies, experience, and preferences, you have to come back to yourself. And this is going to sound kind of wild, but I invite you to like kind of tap into like your inner child, like that, you know, maybe 5 to 8 year old that just had that unshakable confidence, where you'd wear the mismatched outfits and always have a hat and a necklace, and, you weren't afraid to speak your opinion. Tap into that little person and, explore those feelings of like, what did you want to do when you were younger? What were the things you liked to, you found yourself doing? Were you out and about in nature? Were you, constantly taking things apart? Were you drawing? Were you playing music? Were you singing? And then, come to today. What are you researching? What do you find yourself like going down the Google rabbit hole because you saw a flyer of an advertisement, or someone shared about a wellness tip that had really changed their mind? If we come back to some of those playful curiosities, because mindfulness is being in that space of curiosity, and when we're curious about what we research, what ignites our energy, I feel like those can be kind of like signals to be like, hey, maybe explore this industry as a potential path to look at their company to see if they might have any positions that would match your knowledge, your competencies, your experience, and some of the things that you might think or believe that you're looking for in your future job. So when we get aware of what we want, and then we are able to just allow, like receive, allow those messages to come in, because we're conditioned with, this professional society that it's like, we have to be these perfect little professionals. Well, I'm going to challenge the status quo and like go back to your playful inner child, see what he or she wants, and then, see if we can reverse engineer and connect the dots, and see if we can find work that would ignite your energy, that you would really love, that you would feel excited trying to start up conversations with people that work in that industry. So when you're curious, you're in that non-judgmental place. You are also allowing yourself to be human and make mistakes. I think that's when I think back to my journey and my healing and the success I've had in business and entrepreneurship and as a leader in the recruitment and talent acquisition space. It's because I haven't been afraid to make a mistake, and learn from them. I am the recruiter I am today and the expert I am today because I made a lot of mistakes early in my career. And each time, I allowed myself to learn from those experiences and grow. So, just staying in that mind of like messy action is oftentimes better than perfect action. And that ties into progress, not perfection. So, what else? We want to also, okay, so this goes back to a lot of people have had trauma, essentially, like I had a toxic bully boss. It was bad. A lot of you have had toxic environments, horrible people that made you feel horrible and tried to devalue your worth, right? And you've come to the other side of that, right? So it's a year, 2 years later, you've, taken steps to heal and you've moved on, and you're working on yourself to elevate your skills, and, you're showing up in this different way. I find people tend to get stuck sometimes in going back to that story. Well, because I was in this toxic environment. Well, because this happened. Well, because it's like, they're not letting that go, and they're still identifying with that being a part of, how they show up in the world, and what we focus on expands. And so I always believe in like, we want to leave the door to the past open because there's so many amazing, humbling lessons to be taught from that experience. But oftentimes, like, I'll encourage my clients to be like, okay, take that experience and either like write it out, purge it, light it on fire, or put it on, a metaphorical cloud and just like send it away. Right. And just allow yourself to like alchemize that part of your story. Right. And then you're kind of clearing the wreckage of your past. You're kind of, if your confidence foundation, right, was, say, just a slab of concrete, and your trauma and your bad experiences and the rejection that you've experienced and the times you found yourself in like that pity party mindset, those are all like leaves and garbage and chairs and things that need to be like cast away on top of your foundation. Um, Taking the time to just allow yourself to get out the leaf blower and blow it all away and take all those things to the trash, right? Clear that foundation, because, all we have is today. And it's when we believe in ourselves and focus on these things that we're looking to move forwards, we're going to have better success selling ourselves, persuading a hiring manager that you're the right man or woman for the job. You're going to feel better about telling your story, right? You're going to open the door to be able to really look at, what are the things I loved in the past positions that I have? Can I be really honest with myself that, I don't like calendar management, which is not a good thing when you're in entrepreneurship, but I am learning and I do love it because it allows me to talk with and meet with amazing human beings like many of you here today. So send up some hearts if this is resonating with you, if you're feeling what I'm saying, because I'm definitely speaking from the heart and very intuitive, guided. So I really just want to invite, again, I made a post the other day. There is no perfect way or strategy to find a job because you're all uniquely different. You all were raised different. You all have different preferences. You all, have had different skill sets and education and cultures and, ways of being. And so for all of this content to be out there, and there's so many experts, and as a job seeker, even as a creator and a fellow coach in this space, I'm overwhelmed with what you all are consuming. And so I think that's one reason I show up a little bit different in my content, because, yes, there are some like basic 101 best practices with, the steps to the way of work today, right? But there's also a lot of misinformation out there. And so if you have that self-awareness and you're practicing self-care, and you're giving yourself self-compassion, you're also going to be more inclined to like tap into your intuition and trust yourself, like trust your gut. And then, if you have questions, reach out to people who are recruiters or who have hired people, or figure out a way to fact check. But I've even seen, some content from, established publications that I question. And again, I am, not the end all be all authority on the perfect resume or the perfect profile. We're all evolving and learning as we go, but it's the inner work that makes the resume sell. It's the self-awareness, the self-love for ourselves, because when people can see that light in us, that's an unshakable quality. And it's not listed on the job description. Hiring managers aren't necessarily going to say that I need someone who feels really good about themselves and loves themselves and, can come in here with a positive attitude. They might say the positive attitude thing, but that's the subconscious like connection that comes out in those conversations and those interviews. So it is a strategy in essence, Aurora is snoring in the background. Aurora, hey, it's okay. She's barking in her sleep. Sorry. Let's see if you all can see her. Well, she's down there. I made her sleep on her bed today. She was really mad about not being able to sit on my couch, which is really funny. Oh no. And now technical issues. You know what? StreamYard and hashtag LinkedIn. This is really aggravating me. You know, this happened the other week where the video came down like fine when I downloaded it on StreamYard, and I feel like I was able to see it on LinkedIn. Okay, boo. What could I do? It's 12:21. So you're just listening to me? Is this what's happening here? Gonna check it on my phone. Hold, please. Let me see what's going on. I'm getting the circle of death over on my second screen. That's always fun. I'm so frustrated with this, and I'm so proud of myself for going live. Yep, there is nothing there. Check it on my phone. Hold, please. Yep. Okay. Well, let me come right back. Strange things happening. If I end the broadcast, then I will have to come right back. Timothy says, I find it better on YouTube anyway. Well, I mean, that's why I end up streaming on YouTube too. So, you know, here we are. So come on over to YouTube. Ronette can see me. So come on over to YouTube. Oh, I'm going to mute that. All right, now that I'm like completely out of my flow, that's all good. Okay. So annoying. Okay. All right. So, well, I am going to just jump on over to do this self-compassion meditation. So, because going through a job search is really hard. And, you know, recalibrating, allowing yourself to kind of process all the experiences and conversations that you're having and finding that balance is so important. And when we practice self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-care, we will find our confidence improving, and that will attract the types of employers and people that you're meant to have in your life. Because again, I believe what we focus on expands, and the universe provides and, you know, puts us right where we're supposed to be. And, you know, I was talking with another client last week who has been on a longer term job search and really in this kind of almost collusion of trying to figure it out. And it was like, maybe the answer is actually in like letting go of the idea that you actually have to figure it out. And maybe if you drop back into that, you know, childlike energy and get curious about, you know, the things that you're interested in, that you're naturally passionate about, that ignite your energy, you know, maybe that process of just letting go of being like, you know, I have to identify with a title or a industry, or I have to have the perfect resume, you know, if we just get curious about some of these natural skill sets and come back to ourselves and into this intuition space, and then be willing, right? Because, you may find clarity in other places and you may have to do some leveling up, and you may have to speak in ways or learn different languages to tell your story that would translate into these new industries or areas that you're interested in. And I believe anyone can make a pivot in their career, but it does take networking. And not everyone is an extrovert, and it takes time to figure out your voice and your language and the ways that you're comfortable starting conversations with people, to get curious about, how did they get that position in that industry? What do they love about doing that work? And that's a really, that's why I encourage, this is not good. I've been talking more this week because I have been back in the office and interviewing more people. So my voice might be going a little bit. Okay, so here we are. So I am going to stop looking at the comments. And if you're just listening to me on LinkedIn, that's great, because we're about to jump into a meditation. And this is going to be in service of what I call the self-compassion pause. And, I think this would be something great to listen to, when you find yourself spinning, right? When you find yourself completely overwhelmed and uncertain of that next step, the next right thing to do, right? And I always feel like when I'm in that space of, even if it's in entrepreneurship or in my recruiting work, putting my feet down on the ground, and allowing myself to take a deep breath and just saying to myself, like, what do I need right now? This has been a way that I have been able to do this like internal inventory to check in, with that presence and that curiosity and that self-compassion. So with that, I've chosen this topic because what the universe has been bringing to me in the form of, discovery calls, past clients, current clients. And so if one or two people are struggling with overwhelm and shaky confidence, it's an invitation to come back to ourselves and to find some of that self-compassion. So I invite you to begin, come to a comfortable seat and your spine, letting your shoulders and arms rest comfortably. Your hands may rest on your thighs or in your lap. Take a moment to connect with the surface beneath you and help yourself ground into this practice. Once you feel grounded, turn your attention towards your breath and let a few cleansing breaths move through you. Continue to breathe naturally, and then take a moment to connect with your heart by bringing a palm to rest on this part of your body. As you breathe, feel your hand rising and falling as your chest expands and softens. See if you can connect with this part of yourself with the loving, tender presence, as if you were sending yourself care through the palm of your hand. Whatever you're going through in this moment, know that your experience is entirely human. Every emotion, every experience, everything that we go through is part of our humanity. Take a moment to honor your human experience with care, with warmth, and curiosity. Now imagine that someone you love was going through what you're going through now. Whatever you might be struggling with in your life, consider that someone you love has or will go through something very similar. With this in mind, what words of support, love, and care would you offer this person? How would you show them your compassion? And then offer those words of support, love, and care to yourself in this moment. If this is challenging at this time, or if you cannot find the words to say, consider repeating the following words of loving kindness. May I be patient and compassionate with myself. May I speak to myself with kindness. May I honor my experience as being fundamentally human. May I love myself unconditionally. Spend just a few more moments here. Offer yourself any other words of support that you may need to hear right now. When you're ready, come back to the natural flow of your breath. And reconnect with the seat or the surface beneath you. In your own time, you can slowly open your eyes, and may you carry this self-compassion with you throughout the day. I hope this was supportive to you. I'm a big fan of guided meditations. I have goosebumps I would show you, but you can't see them. And these scripts and words today are not of my own, but through a mindfulness exercises company that I work with to share these beautiful words and reminders with myself and my community. So I hate that you were not able to see me on LinkedIn. Thank you for joining over on YouTube, and I will be sure to put a note out to LinkedIn or StreamYard or both that we are having some of these challenges. And we will be back next week, which is usually Ask Me Anything. If you all have any insights or questions or topics that you would like me to cover, please let me know. Otherwise, don't forget this evening at 6 o'clock is the Recruiter Ask the Recruiter audio event. Won't need picture for that one. So for those of you that stuck around and joined every week, I am so grateful for you. I am here to support you, sending you lots of love and light and good vibes for the rest of this week into next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you guys. Bye.